Well, good evening, everybody. And the reason why I decided to do this is because this is the 2 year anniversary, as of tomorrow, actually, that Timothy Charles Holmseth decided that he did not feel like showing up to court to defend himself. And, he is basically on the run. So I thought I would kind of do a little presentation in regards to that. Now, Timmy was charged with aggravating stalking, and he was supposed to show up in court on August 26th, 2019. And somebody talked him into not showing up. And so on that very day, a warrant was issued for his arrest. And he has avoided the warrant basically forever. He has absconded, as they say, has a statewide warrant out for him. Now he possibly is staying out of the state of Minnesota. Kind of hard to know. We do see him running around with someone who goes by Randy Holmseth sometimes. And he just is having a good old time. And It turns out that um, he may be in a little bit of trouble, but more on that later. Now, as to how I came across the idea for the show had to do with someone reminding me that today was 2 years from being on the run and not showing up in court. And that's this little gem that appeared on a rather obscure BitChute site. See, there had been calls to the Anoka County Sheriff's Office suggesting that Timothy Charles Holmseth may be in the company of Randy Erickson and staying at her residence in Elk River, Wisconsin. So the police went there and simply asked Brian Holmseth, her husband, if Timothy Holmseth was there or if he had been there and is his wife helping him. And Brian said no. He allowed the sheriff to search the residence. The sheriff was satisfied that he wasn't there, although there seemed to be signs that he had been there in the past. And Brian was given a warning not to be helping Timothy Charles Holmseth because he would be charged with a felony, even though Tim Holmseth is currently charged with a misdemeanor. And for some inexplicable reason, Randy decided to file a complaint against the deputy who showed up. Now, what is curious is this is one deputy that showed up, and she is claiming that there was swatting involved. Now, this is basically filing a false police report because she is accusing the deputy of something he did not do. He did not swat the house. There is a summons to appear as well as a court date for Timothy Charles Holmseth. So he had a legitimate reason for being there. There's ample evidence on the blog that is in Timothy Charles Holmseth's name that Timothy Charles Holmseth was in the company of Randy Holmseth Erickson. She has admitted to it. She puts up articles about Tim on her website since she declares that she owns all of this stuff. She has put stuff on BitChute, which is a clear indication that she is in league with Tim Holmseth in one way or another. And so for 2 years, Timothy Charles Holmseth has been sightseeing throughout the United States, spending money on room and board and gas and car insurance, license tags, driver license renewal, all sorts of things with no visible means of income. Now, it is said that he is in the employment of the Pentagon Pedophile Task Force and the Joint Special Operations Command, but there has been no income tax returns filed by Mr. Holmseth, and there has been no employee returns filed by whoever his employer is. And this is a matter of the law. If you pay somebody something, you have to file income tax on it. And if you are a non-for-profit or not-for-profit, you have to declare these in a public filing. And this has not been done. There is nothing that shows that the Pentagon Pedophile Task Force is a for-profit, not-for-profit, or non-profit organization. There is absolutely no tax returns filed in the name of whatever this thing is. There's no taxpayer ID number. There is nothing. So, we now have another story that came out that was rather interesting. Uh, this appeared on my Twitter as a forward message, and it's over on, of all things, a far right website. And it's a story about Kimmy. Timmy, and this is on Rumble. And basically, it tells the story of the fact that it's been 2 years that Timmy has been on the run and that he is alleged to be in the company of Randy Erickson slash Holmseth. Uh, now, let me go through this a little bit. Why is disinformation allegedly started by Timothy Holmseth continuing to be spread around via social media? Why was not any factual evidence for Holmeseth's twisted claims, yet there are still being shared? Apparently, multiple sources have debunked the narrative, including yours truly. So why is it still being shared? Good question. The answer, of course, is that number one, he is over on a far right QAnon supporting website that doesn't care about the truth. And Twitter is rather lax in their enforcement of the rules because they don't like BitChute being forwarded over to Twitter. And the content that is put up on the high command is definitely lies, misinformation, in violation of Twitter rules. But that's up to Twitter. Not much we can do about that. Now, so we have, meanwhile, Mr. Holmseth is allegedly attempting to evade law enforcement authorities due to multiple warrants for his arrest issued from Minnesota and Florida. There are claims that Holmseth has violated a restraining order and is on the run, allegedly traveling with his publisher, Randy Erickson, and sometimes Holmseth. There are claims that the two have been all right. I got something that's blocking here. I don't know why it's doing it. There it goes. There are claims that the two are driving around the United States, stopping at people's residences and delivering Holmseth's book. It has been alleged by Holmseth that he stopped at Lynn Wood's house at some point. However, it was stated that Mr. Wood was not at the residence at that time and did not receive TCH's self-published book or other material with it. I added that a little bit. Apparently, there is a reward being offered for information leading to the arrest of Tim Holmseth. And this is by a private group that alleges that, is making these, and they're even offering a reward. Now, Randy and the high command claim this is illegal, and it's not. Tim Holmseth has been charged with a crime. And so all people are asking is for people to report Tim Holmseth to the authorities. That's not illegal. It's truth. Randy Erickson and Tim Holmseth certainly have not reported this to the police. They have not sued anybody, although they threatened to sue me for $1 million for unspecified statements. I think you misunderstood what I said, Martha. The police did not SWAT Randy Erickson. Randy accused them of swatting. It is not swatting to seek out and question parties that have had associations with Tim Holmseth if they know his whereabouts. And it is apparent that someone has lied to the sheriff, because shortly after the reporting of the SWAT incident, Randy herself posted a package that she received at the very address that the police showed up at, in spite of the fact that her husband okay, let's calm it down, guys. Uh, in spite of the fact that her husband said that they had been separated and she had not been in the house for what would now be a year, that she apparently disappeared almost immediately after Tim Holmseth went on the run. Now, this is rather strange that Tim Holmseth would be doing this, since what he is accused of is nothing more than a misdemeanor. He would have gone to court, probably got a misdemeanor warrant or charge, and he would have served maybe 30 days in the county clank, maybe got a little bit of probation, and that would have been the end of it. And he missed an opportunity here, because he has the right to mount a defense, and he has the right in certain cases to offer evidence in his own defense. He could have brought up the book, its contents, everything in court, and gotten everything on the record, and there would have been nothing that Kim would have been able to do about it. But instead, he chose to go run and hide. And yeah, he's getting the word out there, but he's getting it out there to the choir, so to speak. Only those people that believe in him and what he says. And it's a relatively small group of people in the long run. The outside world, for the most part, doesn't know Tim Holmseth exists. Maybe a few places like my small channel here and Levi and some of these blogs, like this one that was released today, tell the story. But it's not going to make CNN or ABC, CBS, and so forth. If he had gone to court and put all this information out there that he had, there's a good chance that mainstream media would have picked up on it, because it involves a high-profile attorney. But in newspaper terms, he decided to bury the lead by going on the run, being a fugitive from justice. Timothy Charles Holmseth buried his own story, because nobody outside of the conspiracy theory group is going to care. And even the conspiracy groups aren't going to care. He was getting so razzed on his BitChute channel that he closed all comments. Now, every once in a while, he'll pop it open, and it may stay open or it may close. It depends on what he gets in the BitChute response to his videos. So, this is what we have here. We have this guy running around the country, getting involved in things, and it is said that he is now somehow involved in the disappearance of a female child, allegedly taken by her father, and may be in the state of Arizona. Now, what is interesting, and this is just maybe coincidence, but Tim Holmseth was in the state of Texas around the time that Michael Long was having this dispute with his wife, and around the time that Michael Long took off. And at last report, Tim Holmseth is in that part of the United States. He is somewhere in the southwest part of the United States. Is he now in league with Michael Long, helping to conceal the presence of Sophie and aiding and abetting a fugitive from justice, someone who is interfering with the parental custody of the child to the rightful parents, according to the court. And is Tim Holmseth once again barging into a case? It would certainly appear that way. You know, we have Tim Holmseth out there, coincidentally, in that part of the country. We have someone that goes by the handle of Glare, who is uh, okay. I lost my train of thought because I was looking at my thing here, and I put this. Um, Martha was giving a message to Timmy, and I think there was a misunderstanding. But what needs to be understood here is it doesn't matter if it's the mother that's in the right or the father that's in the right. A parent should not take the law in their own hands and run away with a child. You work with the system. And Mike Long was enough of a propagandist, he could probably have been successful at it with him remaining in the state of Texas and temporarily allowing the child to be with the mother. He could have worked through the courts to mitigate his situation using the right wing media, as he is doing now, to fight on behalf. But instead, he chose the coward's way out, as did Timothy Holmseth, and go on the run. And at least in Michael Long's case, it may be worse for him because of that. Now, let me see. I probably didn't put the slide up. No, I didn't. Because there's going to be another half to this thing. Oh, no, I did put it up. What did I do? Put that as a background? Yeah, I did. Darn it. All right, I got to make a correction here. I put a slide in the wrong place. But anyway, so we have Tim running around, living the life of Riley, and not a care in the world. He doesn't have to worry about getting arrested because he's out of the state of Minnesota. As long as he doesn't go into the state of Minnesota, he's fine. And so, no problem. Okay, where? Okay. Almost managed to pull off a perfect night tonight. When I had something I was going to put up here, and now I don't have it. So let me do it this way. All right, maybe it's in download. Yep, it is. I figured I'd leave one slide out tonight in my presentation here, but lo and behold. Now, as I said in my preview this tonight, I was going to talk about two subjects and I was going to cut this short. Cynthia Absug is going to go on trial on January 10th, 2022. I believe the Florida warrant is a felony warrant. I'm going to have to double check that, but I think because of the nature of the charges, it is a felony warrant. So he has to stay out of the state of Florida as well. Um, but there are actually two hearings up here. You have September 16th is going to be a hearing, and this is the wrong itinerary. Um, so I managed to botch that one up. For some reason, the correct one didn't come up. I'm going to have to figure out where that went. But on the 16th of September, there's going to be a hearing to determine the question of custody. And because of the criminal case against her, Cynthia may have a bit of a problem with getting custody of her child because she had the brilliant idea of planning allegedly a kidnapping of her son and now finds herself subject to prosecution for that. Okay, let me get on here. What I'm going to have to do is go over here. I just got some information. This is a completely different subject. Um, there's been news about Lynn Wood today. Um, he is probably going to be facing disciplinary action because he violated the rules of his practice. What in the world? And I got back an answer to a question that I asked regarding, hi, Levi, welcome to the show. And the answer is this. If Lynn Wood is suspended, disbarred, required to take 12 hours of courses in election law, the issuing state that does the suspension or disbarment is the one that decides that. All other states where the attorney is licensed usually have a statute to tell them to follow the later. So this would mean that if this order is approved, Lynn Wood would not be able to practice law anywhere in the United States. And if he's disbarred, he is no longer an attorney. So if I were Lynn Wood, I'd be crossing my fingers right about now. Now that I've gotten the breaking news on that out of the way, okay, this is the right schedule. And what I did is I had the old itinerary and okay, so let me bring this in. Okay, now we wait for lag time to catch up for it to get over on the other screen. But this, oh, still got the wrong one. These things look like I hit the wrong button. All right, here we go. Now, on the 6th of January, there's going to be what's known as a pre-trial readiness conference. This is the same thing that I attended when I went to Castle Rock the 1st of August. And a wrench was thrown into the works because the defense and prosecution couldn't agree on an issue. And so the case was continued until January so that everybody has a chance to work themselves out. And so on the 6th of January, 2022, we're going to have this readiness conference. And this readiness conference is going to determine if we're all ready to go forward with the trial. If we're ready to go forward with the trial, the 10th of January, the trial begins. And it's scheduled to go from the 10th to the 13th, which is 4 days. This is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And that would probably go to the jury on Thursday. They would deliberate, and possibly on Friday, we would have a verdict. And so I will be going to Douglas County, to the courthouse, to observe the case, report as much as I can live, much the same way as I did when I went up there the last time. I will have nightly updates when I get to the hotel, which is a quarter of a mile from the courthouse. I was very fortunate to find a hotel that's within sight of the courthouse. The only problem is this is going to be in January, and it is going to be as cold as fork going up there. But, you got to do what you got to do. So we're going to have Cynthia Absug finally going on trial. Cross our fingers. Hope they don't come up with another reason to continue this. And I will know in advance. So if they do continue this again, I can delay my trip to Castle Rock until when they finally get their act together and go on trial. But all indications are this is the last excuse that the judge is going to allow from either side, because she wants to get this case on the docket and get it over with. And so we may finally have that. Now, as you all know, in September, we are also going to be going to Fort Lauderdale because Field McConnell has changed his plea. And so we are going to drive down to Fort Lauderdale, and I am personally going to be in the courtroom for that one. And as soon as everything is done, I will be on the air giving a live update as to what happened, because I do not think I'm going to be able to live stream or text from within the court. I will be calling Fort Lauderdale Media Relations to find out what can be done about that. It's the same thing I requested with Douglas County, in that I was going to ask for enhanced coverage of the case. That's going to be up to Fort Lauderdale. I have sent down my press credentials, my assignment letter, and the statistics that I need from this channel in order to get that access if they grant it. So we're going to see where it goes. So that's a 50-50 chance, and I will be covering either live within the courtroom or live outside the courthouse once the proceeding is done. The allocution and so forth probably will be done by noon at the latest. The hearing is set to start at 9 o'clock in the morning. It has been stated that Field McConnell will be in Florida and in court to answer the questions of the judge. You have to answer a number of questions in regards to you fully understand the ramifications of your decision. You got to state that nobody coerced you into it, and all that. And if Field McConnell does that, then whatever was agreed to by the judge will be what he gets, whether it's time served, whether it's other conditions on top of the time served, possibly probation, restrictions of some sort or another, and whatever else he needs to do. in order to meet the requirements of the plea bargain. So unless Bill McConnell changes his mind, the statement by um, Kirk Pendergrass is going to be wrong. Because Kirk Pendergrass said he did not change his plea, that it was fake news. Well, I have it on very good authority after making countless checks that not only has there been a plea bargain and that Field McConnell has accepted it, apparently Kim has accepted the plea bargain herself. Because in the end, only Kim can approve the plea bargain to be forwarded to the judge. The judge then has the option of accepting it or not. But if Kim accepts it, the judge is going to accept it, and we are going to have a finale to this little adventure. Now, the thing about the Field McConnell case is what is going to happen once Field McConnell realizes that he's got a hell of a bill to pay. Now, Phil McConnell did not pay for his legal defense. His son did. And this may or may not be a loan. And I'm sure when Phil McConnell's son gets the bill for this, he's going to tell his father, you need to get back at the people that are responsible for putting you in this position to begin with. And that would be none other than Timothy Charles Holmseth and his publisher, as well as other people in the mix. Because if it had not been for Timothy Charles Holmseth, Phil McConnell would not be traveling to Florida to enter a plea bargain in a stalking case. He would be home enjoying his car collection, talking about Zimbabwe and ranches in Texas and all kinds of things. He might have been able to go to the funeral of his wife. You know, he missed out on that. So that's, where we are on that. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens with Phil McConnell. And who's going to be watching this? Cynthia Absug. Because Phil McConnell got Cynthia Absug in the position she is in. And she, by her message she sent me on Twitter, stated that she felt that the other people involved, namely Tim Holmseth and Randy Erickson, are frauds. And she wanted to know who's going to investigate them. Well, this may depend on what Phil McConnell does. And by extensions, Cynthia Absug's going to see what happened to Phil McConnell. And so she may turn around and say, hey, FBI, I got some information for you. Hey, state of Colorado, I've got some information for you. And so we may see Cynthia Absug either work towards a plea bargain or she's going to start flipping like pages in a book. And then we've got, last but not least, Neely Petrie Blanchard. Neely Petrie Blanchard. Woman getting ready to stand trial in November for first-degree premeditated murder, which, if the state decides, could be a death penalty case. And this is a case, goodbye, Sandy, thanks for showing up briefly. Premeditation has been established in this case. Neely Blanchard obtained a gun, traveled to Florida with the intent to kill Chris Hallett. She stayed in the house, talked to him, got him feeling relaxed, and then suddenly pulled out a gun, yelled a statement at him, shot him. The gun jammed while she was attempting to kill the two witnesses that were in the room. While she was repairing the gun, these witnesses took off. He got the gun repaired and finished executing Chris Hallett. Now, as I stated last night, Neely Blanchard apparently is going to mount a insanity defense, saying she was temporarily insane. This could be argued as a crime of passion, so on and so forth. And so we have that. Now, as we get closer to that date, and depending on what the court appointed psychiatrist or the defense appointed psychiatrist, I should say, says, they would know whether or not that they are going to go forward with this defense, or possibly they would work out a plea deal with the state of Florida to avoid the death penalty and even get a lesser sentence, say 20 years to life with the possibility of parole. So there's always that. But what was I going to check on here? Oh, I know. There's something I wanted to check on her case. And I want to see. Okay, let me go up here. Because as I reported last night, there had been a motion offered by the defense in regards to this expert witness. And I want to check and see if the judge has made a decision on that. So what I got to do is I got to go into the search engine here. And we go Petrie Blanchard, Petrie, and see if there's been a decision made. Would help if I type this right. Well, this could possibly happen because if she cops a plea, she may be inclined to, at a minimum, implicate Kirk Pendergrass in this nonsense, and she may also implicate the rest of these people. And so far, it does not look like the judge has approved the motion. This was submitted on the 17th, and this is the 25th, so the judge apparently has not rendered a decision quite yet. Now, also in this case, quite soon, as a matter of fact, as soon as this thing comes back up again, on September 9th at 2:30 in the afternoon, the medical examiner is going to be given a deposition. It's going to be a remote deposition. And so the attorney is going to be probably asking questions and listening to the deposition from the medical examiner's office to see what's going to happen there. And so that's where we stand right now. We're waiting to find out what the decision is going to be on whether or not the state of Florida is going to pay for this expert And you people with your Google fingers out there, let me bring this back up again. We go back down, and the gentleman's name, doop, 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 doop. The expert witness is going to be Harry Krop, Krop, single P, PhD, and he's going to perform a psychological evaluation regarding the defense of insanity. And so, again, whatever happens there will determine what Neely decides to do and what her attorney decides to advise her what to do. And so this is what we're all going to be waiting to find out. So it's going to be a busy last quarter of the year because I will first be going down to Phil McConnell's hearing. I will well, I agree with you there, Martha. I don't think the Ocala Women's Prison, Marion County Women's Prison, is going to be that much of a problem for Neely. And she would probably have some sympathy for other mothers who are there who may have had problems with CPS and so-called men that have screwed up their life as well. So what you're going to have is she's probably in a better situation. Yeah, I wonder what the hell all that was. Cat walked across the keyboard, maybe. I don't know. Yeah, the thing of it is, in order on something this major, in order for her to, quote, cop a plea, there has to be something to make it worthwhile for the state of Florida because they got a pretty solid case. I mean, they've already admitted she was there. And if they're going to go with the plea deal or they're going to go with a insanity plea, then she has to admit guilt, but innocent by reason of insanity, or guilty but insane, depending on how the rules are written in the Florida court. I'm not sure which one applies, either guilty but insane or innocent by reason of insanity. It's probably going to be the latter of the two, but this is something I'm going to have to get advice on as we go down the road on this. But I'm going to close out in about 10 minutes because Levi Page is coming on at 10:30, and I want to make sure that people migrate over to his channel and all that. So and plus there's really not much to talk about other than repeating the same thing. But what I want to do is double check Field's case to see if anything new has come up, which I doubt this late in the game. Yeah, there are quite a few people. I mean, she could get a lot of people in trouble if things went that way. And she could give enough information for the feds to get involved because there's some pretty sick, we're getting into human trafficking, child trafficking, and all this. And so we're looking at all these possibilities. So let's see what we have here. I'm in Field's case. We go down, 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 down. Doop. Okay, we're on the same page. We've got the August 8th, 13th notification that we are going to have a change of plea, and it's going to be 9 a.m. September 13th. And so there's where we stand with that. Well, you're welcome. I just like sharing things I'm interested in. I've been interested in this case just as much as the rest of you out there. Yeah, it's like you said, there are a lot of people involved in all of these things because you not only have Cynthia Absuck, you have Nellie Blanchard. These both of these cases tie together. These people were in the same three ring circus, and so she could, if the state so desires, and the federal government in some case so desires, bring these people down because there a lot of fairly serious crimes are being committed and have been committed by these people. And so you have um, a storm brewing here, as someone is fond of saying. We have a coming of the storm, but the storm is taking a direction I don't think those people expected. They right now seem to think they don't have anything to worry about and they're carrying on like nothing's going on. But justice is slow and justice is patient. All the authorities are sitting back in their collective easy chairs and they're just waiting. They're waiting for everything to come together and the right straw to break the camel's back, and the shit is going to hit the fan. And there's no telling who's going to come up in all this, because some of the cases we're watching now that are of high profile, you get to see how the government works. Instead of going after the head of the snake, they go for the body of the snake. They go for those people at the lower part who could flip and turn against the principal in the investigation. And this is what's going to happen with all these cases. Because the investigating is not over just because these three people are going on trial or the trial's coming to a conclusion with one of them. The various law enforcement agencies are investigating for for other included crimes. There's, wire fraud being looked at, tax evasion, impersonation of a government official, and lying to authorities. There's all kinds of things swirling around in this little cesspool. And, and these people are going to find themselves swept up. It's a matter of time. The statute of limitations is nowhere near being met in any of these cases. These people's clocks are running out. They're so fondly saying tick tock, tick tock. Well, their clock is ticking, and they're the ones that are going to have the alarm run out. And they're going to be getting the knock on the door and the man with the golden badge. And they're not going to sit there and say, well, I've been swatted. And they say, no, you haven't, because it's going to be the feds that are going to be doing the knocking. And it's not going to be because some woman in Minnesota said that someone may be harboring a fugitive from justice. It's going to be the feds saying, we got a case against you. Okay, our fugitive from justice has another video up. It's the same video that was up before. Now they're saying that some kind of victim is buried at Fort Campbell, Kentucky. Secret graveyard of murder victims hidden at Fort Campbell, Kentucky. Now, I don't know if Timothy Charles Holmseth or he trademarked his name. Yeah, I'd like to see you do that one in court. Anyway, Mr. Holmseth trademark is still going down this rabbit hole of claiming that people committed rape and murder at Fort Campbell, Kentucky. And apparently he doesn't realize what they do at Fort Campbell, Kentucky. For I guarantee you, if there is a dead body on the base out there and the provost general is aware of it, or provost marshal, I should say, they will find the body. This is a military installation. They have military grade equipment, which includes side scan radar, military grade side scan radar, not this shit you see on America's Most Wanted or something, where some dude comes out with a piece of equipment used to find pipes underground and scans around for dead bodies. This highly sophisticated equipment they have at Fort Campbell, Kentucky could find someone buried 30 feet under the ground. So, this is just another fiction so that they could well, Lori, I can guarantee you that NCIS has been made aware of what is going on. If you remember back when this story that Timothy Holmseth came up with, where he claimed that military personnel were engaging in rape and murder on a military installation, and since one of the individuals accused is a Navy veteran, NCIS was notified. And, the rest of the story, all one needs to do is look back through this channel and you'll find what I'm talking about. These people have gotten what they wanted. It happened with the Coast Guard. It happened with the FBI. It happened with the U.S. Marshals. He's making some serious charges. And all one has to do is do a screen capture of that story and send it to the head law enforcement dude at Fort Campbell, Kentucky, and say, hey, this guy is reporting a murder on your base. What are you going to do about it? And, I'm sure that's going to make them real happy to see that pop up and to see this guy standing out in front of the gate of their base. And so maybe Timmy will get the attention he wants after all, because they're sure going to want to talk to him, and they're going to want to talk to him personally, and with a bunch of little probes on his chest and maybe this little ding-a-ling on the arm, and you're going to look over and you're going to see this device with 4 or 5 little needles. They're doing their little squiggly. And he's going to be asked some pretty serious questions. And so, that's what Timmy wants. That's what Timmy's going to get. And I guarantee you there's going to be a video made about that. But, you don't go around making these serious charges without expecting at some point somebody in authority saying, hey, we need to find out what's going on here. And so the phones will be ringing in Kentucky tomorrow. And with that, I'm going to close out the show. It's getting to be 10 o'clock. I want to get everything shut down and get ready. So I'm going to probably watch Levi's show at 10 o'clock, or 10:30, I should say. So everybody can go sculling on over and see what Levi has to say. He's doing a damn good job. And if anybody who is not subscribed to Levi, please do that. Like, subscribe, hit the notifications, because he is very experienced at covering true crime. He has good connections, and he's well worth listening to and talking to. And I will probably do a Saturday murder-thon. Not sure quite yet. If not, it's going to be on Sunday. And if there's anything to update, I'll update it at that time. So until then, please like, subscribe. Please hit the thumbs up to counter the trolls. Hit the notification button, all of that. And until we meet again, have a good one.